This one is starting to drain out. Let's get one more batch from him. Hopefully this new feeder will last longer, Iva said as she opened the draining tube. Let's get upstairs, she'll be here any minute. Jessica needed the extra cash to pay rent. These part-time babysitting jobs paid well and helped out. This job was located at the end of the B7 bus line. It was a large Victorian home set on a large lot away from the road. Jessica was certain it was abandoned just a few weeks ago. Guess I was wrong, she thought to herself as she walked up the long walkway to the house. She still thought the house looked a bit creepy, even though she now knew it was inhabited. Being 24 and on her own and new in this small Midwest town was a challenge for Jessica. She didn't have any family nearby, and she really didn't know many people in the town yet. Her daytime job at a local thrift store wasn't providing enough money to cover her expenses beyond rent. So she relied on nighttime and weekend babysitting jobs to supplement her income to cover groceries and other expenses. As Jessica almost reached the house, she saw the front door open and two people appear. It was a man and a woman. This must be the parents, Jessica thought to herself. As Jessica got closer, she noticed that the couple was stylishly dressed and groomed in a manner that was out of place in this small rural town. With her long, flowing, flowery dress, she didn't know what to make of this goth-style couple living in a large lot near farmland. Maybe they are going to a costume party, she thought. The woman on the porch extended both of her hands to cup Jessica's right hand. Hello, Jessica. I'm Iva, and this is my husband, Gregor, the woman said with a wide yet closed lip smile. We've been truly looking forward to meeting you, Gregor said as he too extended both hands. As he cupped her hand, Jessica thought he massaged the inside of her wrist with his fingers. Okay, that's weird, she thought. Please come inside, Iva said. The front door opened to a living room that was dark and musty. Jessica could swear that the furniture looked like it had been in the room for 40 years. Dimly lit stained glass lamps lit the room, and the wooden furniture looked handcrafted and vintage. Working in the thrift store trained Jessica to identify genuine period pieces and antiques. Welcome to our home, Gregor said. It's a bit of a work in progress, but we're coming along. We just moved in a month ago, Iva offered. Taking care of our son Lucian is an easy job, Gregor said. All you have to do is sit down here in the living room and watch the baby monitor. There's no need to even go up in his room. We will only be out for about 2 hours. Here's the monitor, Iva said as she handed a baby monitor to Jessica. Lucian is 13 months old. He's been fed and we just changed his diaper. He's fast asleep and should stay asleep for several hours. As Gregor said, you really just need to hang out here and make sure the house doesn't burn down, Iva said and giggled again with the strange closed lip smile. Oh, and we have one small request, she said now with almost a stern gaze into Jessica's eyes. Please don't open the fridge and please do not go into the basement. And as we said, there's no need to go into Lucian's room. He's fine, and you are likely to wake him if you enter his room. Okay, dear, I'm sure Jessica has everything covered, Gregor said as he placed his arm on his wife's shoulders. She worries so much about everything, Gregor said and then winked at Jessica. He urged his wife towards the front door. Wait, Jessica called out. Don't you want to give me your cell phone numbers in case I need to contact you? Iva turned with a slight smile and almost squinted eyes. Oh, honey, we don't have cell phones. Now who is worrying too much, Gregor? You'll be fine, Gregor said, looking over his shoulder as he walked out the door and winked again at Jessica. Jessica watched as the couple walked out onto the porch and closed the door behind them. They are super weird, she exclaimed out loud to herself. Jessica walked around a bit to check out the downstairs. She located the kitchen. She also located a door in the hall close to the living room. She believed it was the basement door. Don't go in the basement and don't open the fridge, she murmured. Again, that's weird. Jessica looked down at the baby monitor. I'm not even supposed to check in on the kid I'm watching? She said with a chuckle. And that is super weird. Just then, she heard a strange noise coming from the monitor. She could swear it was growling. The baby turned a bit, but it wasn't crying and seemed to fall back to sleep. Jessica headed back to the living room to take a seat on one of the musty couches. She felt like she was sitting in an early 1900s museum. There was no sign of modern technology, and the place was worn and dusty. Did they just move into an abandoned house? She heard the strange growling from the monitor again. I wonder if the kid has a cold, or maybe it's a dog, she laughed. Jessica had nothing else to do but stare at her phone. Before she knew it, 30 minutes had passed. She was thirsty and decided to go into the kitchen to get a glass of water. While deep in the middle of a comment thread on a social media post, Jessica walked into the kitchen, head down into her phone, and she opened the refrigerator door. Jessica looked up from her phone and realized what she had done. But then she directed her attention to what she saw ahead of her. The fridge had glass bottles filled with a thick red liquid, and plates full of organ meats such as liver as well as bunches of spinach. It was then that Jessica heard faint cries coming from the direction of the living room. She ran out into the living room. No one was there. The growling from the baby monitor was now very loud, and the cries sounded like they were coming from what Jessica believed was the basement door. I think these sickos have people in the basement. She opened the basement door. Is anyone down there? Hey, do you need help? Where are you? Jessica cried out. Jessica used the light from her phone to navigate down the old wooden stairway into the darkness. The crying got louder as she got to the bottom of the stairs. She turned to the left and saw a utility sink full of blood and tubes. Next to the sink was a door. She heard the cries coming from behind it. She also saw 2 doors next to that door. Jessica opened the first door. She was horrified at what she saw. There were people tied to chairs with sacks on their heads. They had tubes inserted in them and draining into collection bags. They looked like blood collection bags. "Help us," they cried out. Then Jessica felt a stinging pinch in her arm. She felt woozy and all went dark. Jessica could barely lift her head and her vision was blurred. "Look who's up bright and early," Jessica heard. It was Iva. "You're our new guest in room 3, Gregor said. "Have you met the plumber and the cleaning ladies yet?" He chuckled and then winked. "We hope you like our spinach and liver smoothies. They're full of iron," Iva said with a now wide-open mouth smile to reveal large fangs. "And the sleeping medicine in your blood helps our little Lucian get enough sleepy time while mommy and daddy are out." "Don't mind us," Gregor said. "We're just here to collect a snack. And to help our guest get rest, we are happy to provide these sleeping hoods. Nighty-night, Jessica."